Catherine Howard was the fifth wife of King Henry VIII of England and one of the most tragic figures in Tudor history. Her short reign, 1540–1542, was overshadowed by court intrigues, espionage, and ultimately ended in a death sentence. Her fate was shaped not only by personal mistakes, but also by complex political maneuvers involving powerful nobles vying for influence. A meteoric rise. Catherine came from the powerful Howard family, though her branch of the aristocracy was impoverished. She was raised in the household of her grandmother, Agnes Tilney, Duchess of Norfolk, where young girls were often left without strict supervision. This played a fateful role in her future, as she may have had romantic relationships with Francis Dereham and Henry Manox before arriving at court. When Anne of Cleves, Henry VIII's fourth wife, fell out of favor, Catherine's influential uncle, the Duke of Norfolk, saw her as the perfect tool to strengthen his family's position. He facilitated her placement in Anne's court and later ensured she caught the king's attention. Enamored, Henry quickly annulled his marriage to Anne and wed Catherine, unaware that her past would soon be used against her. Court intrigues. After marrying Henry VIII, Catherine Howard gained numerous enemies at court. Chief among them was Thomas Cromwell, who had previously orchestrated Henry's marriage to Anne of Cleves. However, circumstances changed. Cromwell fell from grace, while the Howards solidified their influence. Yet, before his downfall, Cromwell had sown the seeds of Catherine's eventual destruction by fueling rumors about her past and alleged infidelities. Despite her youth, Catherine made several fatal missteps. She rekindled her relationship with Francis Dereham, who claimed they had been pre-contracted. Even more dangerous was her affair with Thomas Culpeper, a close confidant of the king. Their secret meetings were arranged by Jane Boleyn, widow of George Boleyn, the brother of Anne Boleyn, who had herself once suffered from courtly intrigues. An additional factor in Catherine's downfall was the network of spies operating within the court, working for the Howards' enemies. Some historians believe that several of her close associates were bribed to provoke compromising situations and report evidence to her adversaries. The king may not have immediately believed the accusations, but pressure from his advisors forced him to make a harsh decision. Exposure and downfall. In 1541, Archbishop Thomas Cranmer received an anonymous letter detailing Catherine Howard's past and present indiscretions. Initially skeptical, Henry was eventually convinced when Cranmer provided testimony from servants, letters from Culpeper, and Catherine's own confessions. Arrests followed swiftly. Dereham, Culpeper, and their accomplices were sent to the Tower of London. One particularly intriguing moment involved the confessions. Culpeper, realizing the king would never forgive betrayal, initially tried to delay the inevitable, but ultimately admitted to the affair. Dereham, on the other hand, insisted that he had prior claims to Catherine before her marriage to Henry. The queen was placed under house arrest, then moved to Sion House, and later to the Tower. Execution and consequences. In February 1542, Catherine Howard was executed at the Tower of London. Legend has it that before her death, she repeatedly said, "I die a queen, but I would rather have died the wife of a common man." Alongside her, Culpeper and Dereham were also executed, as well as several courtiers who knew of her affairs. Catherine's death marked the final blow to the Howard family's influence. Her uncle, the Duke of Norfolk, lost his power, and Henry VIII soon remarried, this time to Catherine Parr, who outlived him. Interesting facts. Catherine Howard's ghost. It is said that her spirit still haunts Hampton Court Palace, where she was arrested. According to legend, she ran down the corridor, screaming for mercy, before being captured by guards. A fatal mistake. Had Catherine admitted to a prior engagement with Dereham, her marriage to Henry could have been annulled, potentially saving her life. A forbidden name. After her execution, the name Catherine Howard became taboo at the royal court, and she was rarely mentioned in official records. Court espionage network. Many believe that Catherine was caught in a trap set by political opponents of her family, whose ultimate goal was to weaken the Howards, which they succeeded in doing. Betrayal from within. Some historians suggest that even within the Howard family, there were those who did not prevent her downfall, hoping to secure their own positions at court after her demise. Legal precedent. After Catherine's execution, Henry VIII passed a law stating that any future queen who concealed past relationships could be charged with treason. The story of Catherine Howard serves as a reminder of how perilous courtly life was in the Tudor era. Her fate was a tragic consequence of political games, where personal lives became mere pawns in the struggle for power.